Hey everyone, thank you so much for jumping on today's call. I know many of you are at work today, so I know that for many this is your lunch hour. So if you're on, kudos to you. So tonight is tonight. I'm usually saying tonight because our calls are at night, but today it's a very special call, very, very special. So let me just start by telling you guys a little bit about Scottie Hobbs. So my first encounter with Scottie Hobbs was on his YouTube channel. I was recommended to start following all the top coaches, and he's one of the top coaches. So I started following him, and I connected with his story right away, and his work ethic and his genuine nature. And then fast forward, today's call is about Success Club consistency. I hit Success Club every single month since I have been a coach. And so I earned the trip to Cancun, and I was looking for Scottie everywhere during this trip. But of course, I didn't, meet up with him until the last day. We extended our stay there for an extra day, and so did he. So lucky for me, we actually met at the pool, and my sister actually is the one who said, Scottie, my sister's like, she loves you. And I was like so embarrassed. And I was like, oh my goodness. But I'm really glad that she did that, because we met and we discussed, a lot of his tips. He shared a lot. He shared his story. I shared my story with him. And honestly, what you get on those videos is who he is. He's as humble as can be. And I am really excited for today's call. For you guys that don't know who Scottie Hobbs is, let me introduce him. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's been in Success Club for 59 months, Success Club 10. So that makes him a Success Club legend in his account. And he is also a Success Club 5 legend in his wife's business center, 36 months in a row. He is a 9-star diamond in his first business center. He is an 8-star diamond in his second business center. He's a diamond in his third business center. He is in the Millionaires Club. He has hit Elite 4 times. He's been Elite Top 10 in 2013, and he is also a member of the Coach Advisory Board. So today, he will be discussing the importance of Success Club consistency. And Scottie, without further ado, the call is all yours.
Awesome. So I told Gabriella I was going to give you guys about 45 minutes. I'm going to tell you guys, be 100% honest with you guys. I just seriously had to listen to some Eric Thomas, hip-hop preacher, for like 30 minutes straight while I ate. I was on a call with Cab discussing the company. And like for me, I'm real laid back. I'm an introverted guy. I like to be by myself. And so to be in like heated conversations about $1 billion company and like sharing opinions, like it drained me. So I was like, hip hop preacher for 30 minutes so I could get on here and bring it for you guys. So I want to tell you guys something. And, I've been doing a few calls for other teams lately. I get requests all the time. And, I told Gabriella, yes, I'll do it, but it's got to be during the daytime. I want you guys to know that this is the last one I'm doing for other teams for like a minute, because I'm super excited that I get this last opportunity with you guys. I was with Julie Voris's team yesterday. You guys are the last one today. And it's because, leading into some of the things I want to talk to you guys about. I want you guys to know I've gone for 15-star diamond. Like she said, I'm a 9-star in one business and 8-star in the other, and diamond in the other, and diamond in Gabby's. And so, I've gone for 15-star like 20 times, but that's the one thing I probably never have been really focused on. Like I said it, I'm like, I'm going to do it by this date. And I gather some people, I'm like, we're going to do it. And then I go scatter everywhere. I'll go do a team call for here. I'm on Cab meetings. And so finally I realized I was like, I'm not focused on what I want to actually achieve as my next business goal. So I want you guys to know that I am excited. You guys are my last one for maybe 6 months until we lock that goal in for sure. But with that being said, I gotta bring it, because it's my last one for another team for a few months. So let's my topic, like she said, is Success Club. And I want you guys to know that when I come into a call like this, I never do notes. I go off of what I feel is right for the people that I'm going to be speaking to. And we'll call it the universe, or God helps me through it, helps me know exactly what I should be saying. Like oftentimes I get people, it still feels weird to hear all those things that were mentioned about our accomplishments, because I still feel like a brand new coach, and I want you guys to know that. Like I still feel brand new. When the other day, someone brought up to me, they're like, do you realize that there's 400,000 coaches and there's 43 in your downline? That's 1/10 of the company. And I was like, what? Like I never even looked at that number, because I'm so focused on running challenge groups, hitting Success Club, mentoring my coaches, that I don't see that bigger thing. I don't look at that. It's focused on what's right in front of me and the goals that I have written down. And one of my top goals is Success Club 10 by the 10th. Every month, that's my goal, Success Club 10 by the 10th. But how many of you guys, raise your hand if you'd like to know what got me to hit Success Club 10 my first month, and continue to hit it for 5 years in a row. Would that be awesome to learn how to do that? So one of the things I need you guys to understand from the beginning is it's going to take a lot of faith and a lot of belief in yourself. And then it's going to be about 80% mindset and 20% technicality, like technical things, like how do I market correctly? How do I run a challenge group? All that stuff. 80% mindset. So I want you guys to understand that from the beginning. You guys all know what you do as coaches. We run challenge groups. We market ourselves. We sign up coaches. We train our coaches to run challenge groups. Basically, we get people results with Beachbody programs, right? That's the basics of what we do. And so it can be easy to overcomplicate it. But that's what we do. But the important thing is to know why you do what you do. Because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so I'm going to start with why I do it, why I hit Success Club 10, what made me do that, because it's more important than every single little detail on how I wrote my first blog post or how I got the nerve to make my first YouTube video, right? All those things. That's like 20% of success. So I'm going to go back to April 11th, 2011. And many of you guys, if you've heard my National Wake Up Call, watching my videos, you've heard about that date before. It's the day that I signed up as a Team Beachbody coach. And it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember at this time, so you guys understand, I went to work every day at 5, and I got home at 5 o'clock at night. So my original job when I started there was sweeping the floors in a factory. And I had 2 daughters. But I started that because my dental lab career just kind of went away to, like, machines came in and took away what I did, what my profession was. Because you can go in now and get a new crown in your mouth in like an hour at a dentist, when before it was like a 3-week process where I made that. So I ended up in a factory sweeping, and I'm just a hard worker that's going to take care of my family, right? So instead of, like, I was a sweeper, but I began to just work my way up in the company, right? Which means I do my job and then I ask what else I can help with. And so I did that, and in 5 years in, now I'm writing the service manuals for the equipment we build, like the safety and service manuals and instruction manuals on huge, like 40-foot long, like food processing equipment. Kind of funny, right? Food processing and now Beachbody. But I helped build that equipment. I was the manual writer for them. And then I ran the service department in the middle of my day. And then at the end of my day, I was the shipping department. So I shipped the stuff that we were servicing. So I was kind of in charge of all that. Like 3 people's job and getting paid 1 person's job. Have any of you guys been in that situation before? So like I was working hard to rise up. I always got more responsibility, but for like an 80-cent raise. And I was always mad about that inside a little bit. Like I did it and then expect maybe in the future I'm gonna be rewarded for this, and it never really happened. So leading up to this day, April 11th, I'm the guy that sat in my office praying and trying to find out a way that I can change the fact that so I wouldn't have to work 12 hours a day, so that my wife wasn't at work, because I went at 5 and I came home at 5, and my wife Gabby went to work at 3, and she dropped the 2 girls off at the neighbor's house and then go to work 3 to 11. And so when I got home at 5, I'd pick the kids up. So they'd sit her for 2 hours a day. And I was like, I knew that's not how I was supposed to live my life. Like, that's why I went to dental lab school. Like, I thought I would make enough income to raise my family and not have my wife at work and not have to work 12 hours a day plus Saturdays. And so I was always trying to think of something like how to change that. Do I go into another career? Do I go back to school? I talked to a business owner that owns like the Hilton here, and I asked him for ideas on starting a business, like not this business specifically, but just ideas. And so I was already looking for something. And it turns out a friend introduced me to P90X, and I was out of shape, and I lost 38 pounds in 90 days. So I had abs for the first time. I felt extremely awesome about that. And I was doing that program, and I started researching. Like my friends were just like, dude, if you got paid to talk about P90X, that would be a dream job for you, because it's all you do is talk about P90X and do those selfies and talk about going running and eating your chicken and broccoli and whatever. And so I was like, yeah, that would be cool. So I typed into Google, get paid to do P90X. And I found all these Beachbody coaches, blogs, YouTube videos. And so one of the first videos I watched was Lindsay Matway. So I reached out to her. I actually reached out to about 30 of them, coaches. They all wrote me something, and most of them were scripts. Like I got sent a ton of scripts about coach opportunity webinars and stuff. And I was like so confused on what that was. I just wanted to know. I just wanted someone to tell me. And Lindsay, she told me to call her. So I called her. She told me that she was building this business with Beachbody coaching, and she did P90X, and that she left her job as a bartender. And she told me about her daughter, London, how she was born prematurely, and she incurred a couple $100,000 worth of debt, and that by helping people with P90X, she left bartending and was home with London and working on paying off that debt. And I was like, that's crazy, that you can leave a job and do this. But I really connected with two things. She said she had her daughter prematurely, and she wasn't married. And I was like, what? I had my daughter before I was married as well. It was just I had that little connection. And then she said $200,000 worth of debt. And I was like, it made me think of my mortgage, which was around that amount. And it was the reason that I was working 12 hours a day. I didn't work 12 hours a day because I love to work at a factory. And my wife wasn't at the Hilton because she loves working the front desk. We did it to make sure that we could pay that mortgage. So this morning on April 11th, it was 8 months after I initially talked to Lindsay. So I want you guys to take note of that. 8 months. She's one of the top coaches in the company. 8 months after her connecting with me and inviting me to join her team was the day that I signed up. And it's because that morning, those 8 months I didn't sign up, I was afraid if I could build this business, if I had enough time. I didn't have internet at home. I didn't have a smartphone. I had this little Nokia, tiny little phone. And so I had all these fears. I don't know if I can do what they're doing. And so that morning, when I got to work at 5 a.m., how many of you guys, or most all you guys in the U.S., we don't have too many any Canadians on here, really, do we? Okay, so I told this story in Canada. They're like, what? Your wife doesn't get paid maternity leave for a year? And I was like, no, we don't have that. That's Canada. But she was home for, my daughter. It was April 11th. My third daughter is 18 days old. So my wife's home from the Hilton, taking care of the baby. And so we lose her income, which was helping us. And at the same time, the doctor bills came in, like the anesthesiologist, the doctor bill, the hospital bill. You guys know which ones those are? You're like, another one. And it came to $3,800 with our insurance. And I want you guys to know, at the time, my job, I made about $1,920 a month, which is $810 a week was my average pay. And so my mortgage, I want you guys to understand how bad it was, why my fear was so great this day. I make $800 or $910 a week, or 2 weeks, $910 every 2 weeks, $1,820, and my mortgage is $1,548. Okay, so can you guys do that math? Now I got to feed my kids. I have 3 kids. My wife's not working, and her income helped, with that. So it was still tight, but without it, it was scary. And that morning, I felt this heavy feeling on my shoulders. I felt like the world was spinning around me. I was scared. I'm not often scared, but I was afraid. And that morning I was afraid that I was more afraid of knowing how to take care of my family and provide for them than I was of failing at a Beachbody coach. Okay. So that's the day that I began. That's the day that I signed up. It was April 11, 2011. I remember faxing in my coach application. It's much easier to just click the link and sign up, but I faxed it in. And I became a coach, and I did my getting started right call from my neighbor's house. It's 3 houses down in front of me because I didn't have internet. So I had to do all my coach training on his computer. And I remember talking to Lindsay, and I was so mad, and you guys are gonna this is what's gonna lead into Success Club. I was so mad, and it's kind of cool that we're talking about this because in 2 days I'm flying out for the Success Club cruise. I'm flying out to Fort Lauderdale. But I was so upset because I was sitting in my cubicle, and I'm stressed out about my bills and trying to figure all this out. And then I see all these Beachbody coaches that are on a cruise ship. They're like posting pictures of this cruise. They're on their swimsuits. They're all looking all fit and healthy and having fun. And I was stressed out in a cubicle. So that made me so mad, like inside. And I was just mad because I was like, man, I think I work harder than any of those people on that ship. But I was mad at myself that I didn't start, that I didn't become a coach. I let all those fears hold me back because I could have been on the ship with them if I would have signed up when Lindsay invited me and started going at it. But I know everything has its timing. But I was so upset about it that when I was on my Getting Started Right call with Lindsay, I asked her, all I remember from that call, I had a ton of questions, like how's the left leg work, right leg, what's the emerald mean, all that stuff, that a lot of new coaches have. But I remember asking her two things. I said, I need to make $10,000 with Beachbody so my wife doesn't have to work anymore. And she told me, your income I can't promise you that, but your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. So I was like, okay, I'm going to change as many lives as I can. And I didn't, so you guys understand me, I didn't know what network marketing was. I had no clue what it even meant. And so I literally thought that I had to go sell 300 P90X, 30 P90Xs a month for the course of 12 months to make $10,000 commission. I was doing the math on it, on how many commissions I would have to sell to make 10,000. So that's kind of a clue as how I hit Success Club 10. And that was a low number for me to aim for because I was aiming for starting 30 people a month. Because if I start 30 a month and make those commissions, I can bring my wife home. Because I knew nothing about team bonuses or how that all paid out and that could even happen. So I had high standards for myself on how many people I needed to reach. And with only 200 friends on Facebook and no internet, I knew I had to figure stuff out fast. I had to meet people. So the next question I asked her is, I was like, okay, I'll meet as many people as I can. I'm going to figure this out because I need to bring her home. The next thing that I did was I said, how do I go, what's that cruise? How do people go on that cruise? Because I want to be on that. And if I'm going to bring my wife home anyway, because that's what I'm committing to doing, when's the next one? And because I want to celebrate and bring her on that, on a trip like that. And she said, okay, the next one's in Atlantis in the Bahamas. And I didn't even know what Atlantis was because, dreaming big is going to Salt Lake City from Idaho. So I'm like, okay, how do I get to Atlanta? What's it like? I look at the pictures oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I put it as my screensaver. But I said, what do I need to go on that? She said, you need to hit Success Club 10 every single month. You have to hit Success Club 10 9 months out of 12. That was the rule in that year to earn the trip. And so, guys, what date did I sign up? April 11th. So I had exactly 8.5 months to hit 9 months of Success Club 10. So that kind of was my standard to hit Success Club 10 because I was willing to do whatever it took to bring Gabby home from work. And number two, I was going on that trip. If all those people, thousands of people could go on a trip, I knew that I could work just as hard as any of them. And so I made that commitment that I was going to go to that. So that is how I want you guys to know why my standard was set at Success Club 10. Okay. And why I've hit it every month since then. So, and I want you guys to know, honestly, there were times when I would be at Success Club 6 with a few days left. And those little voices would creep in my mind, right? I don't know if you're going to hit it this month. You don't have any prospects or anybody ready. And I literally had to tell myself to shut up. Okay. Inside I had to say, stop talking like that. And you need to focus on what you can do. You have 2 days. You could reach 50 new people today if that's your focus. And, you've always hit it before. So it's always something that's possible. Focus on that. And you guys may be wondering, how did you have that mindset to be able to do that? Right? So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want you guys to be 100% honest because the truth shall set you free, right? Have you heard that saying? So I'm going to have you guys raise your hands And so I'm gonna give a number of like how many minutes or hours that you do of personal development. Okay. And if I say a number that's more than you do, just lower your hand. So if you do 15 minutes a day, raise your hand and be honest with yourself. If you do more than 30 minutes a day, keep your hand up. If you do more than an hour a day, keep your hand up. If you do more than 2 hours a day, keep your hand up. I still got one. Okay. More than 3 hours a day? Okay. So, okay, I like to see that. And I couldn't see all the screens. So what I want you guys to know is my first year, I did 10 hours a day of personal development via audio, okay? 10 hours a day. And it was like a blessing that I didn't have a smartphone because I was trapped in a cubicle for 12 hours and I used my Nokia smartphone and it had a little it was called the music player, something, Nokia music player. It had a little SD card. And so I downloaded Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Next Door, and The Slight Edge, which is like the compound effect. Those 3 books, I uploaded onto it. And all day long, I had my 2 headphones in while I was writing manuals, while I was writing work orders for the service department. And when I was shipping boxes, it was in. If someone came to talk to me, I didn't even pause it. I just pulled one earplug out, listened to what they needed, took a note of what I needed to do, and then put my earphone back in and kept working. So I want you guys to know, like Millionaire Next Door is 10 hours and 55 minutes on audio. So I could literally listen to that in one shift. So the entire book in one day. And I know a lot of coaches will barely listen to one full book in 6 months. So I want you to know that you can do more with that. That's the only reason that I was able to shut my mind off when it started telling me all the reasons I couldn't hit Success Club 10, all the reasons I couldn't do this business, or when it got hard, is because I listened to so much personal development. So do any of you guys think it's a surprise that I'm probably the only millionaire in my neighborhood today after listening to that book over 60 times in my first year? No surprise, right? The things that they teach in those books, like they're truths if you apply those principles to your life. But it's the only reason that I never stopped taking the actions necessary, because I was understanding those fundamentals of success, the foundations of success. And I'll be honest, I was turned off by the name Millionaire Next Door and Think and Grow Rich, because I was like, I never wanted to be rich. I just wanted to bring my wife home, right? But what I learned the first time I listened to it is I learned it meant be rich in relationships, be rich in self-love, be rich in the belief in yourself, not just rich in money, rich in time, right? So learning all those principles really helped me have the right mindset to make sure that I showed up every single day to this business. So I just want you to know, like when I hit my 12th month of Success Club 10, I remember I was like, I did it. Like you celebrate your successes, right? And then I remember sitting back down to work and I was like, oh shit. Like I got to keep doing that. Like literally, I remember I was like, I have nobody. Like that's the way I felt. But one thing that I do know is that every time that because I've never stopped working every single day. Like I'm still working just as hard now as I did then. I just knew that when I had the right mindset and I did the right actions, that it always came through if I had faith and I believed in it, right? I would never know sometimes where it would come from, but a Success Club lead would come through at the last minute. Or how many of you guys know Brigitte Linford? Do you know Brigitte Linford? Like she was on my last month of Success Club 10 All-Star Legend. Like I have no idea who she was, but she was watching my videos. She lives in my hometown. She was watching my videos and my Facebook page, and she bought Shakeology on her own. She did P90X and Shakeology on her own, and she came to my page every day to watch my videos and read my posts, but she never clicked like or follow on my page. Because she didn't want to feel like a weird stalker is what she says. But that time came through at the end of the month of my 12th month, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to hit this. And then I was like, shut up, Scottie, you're going to hit it. What actions have you always taken that have brought you that result? And what mindset have you always had? And I refocused on that. People always came through. Like, I'm not going to say you can just like Tony Robbins said, you can't just chant like good positive affirmations. You have to put the effort and the work into it. But if I always did that, I always had seeds or a harvest to take, right, for my business. And that's what's led to the 59 months of Success Club. So like, if I could give you guys so I gave you a big nugget, right? What's something that was, if someone could type it in there, what's probably the biggest key to my success in the first year of coaching? You put in the work. Put in the work is a great one. Anybody else? Mindset, personal development. Mindset, personal. I know that I did probably 10 more hours or 9 more hours a day than any other coach when I started my business. So the massive amounts of personal development, and then the second one, I didn't care about all the how-tos. Like I barely put together a system to like train my new coach. Like I've always like mentored and trained my new coaches, but I never had a system that I could teach somebody else. Like this is exactly what I do until like 4.5 years into my coaching business. So, I guess I could call that winging it, but what I did know is I knew why I was doing it. And I taught other people to know why they're doing it. And then the importance of hitting Success Club every single month. And if you were to ask, like, inconsistency, right? It's showing up every single day. And that's like, it's not something that your coach can do for you. I tell my coaches on the first day or in our first little Zoom chat, I tell them I don't want to be their boss and I don't want to be their babysitter. I tell them I didn't build a Beachbody business so I could babysit 43,000 people. Right? I said, that sounds like a horrible job to me, babysitting 43,000. So I helped them understand from the beginning that it's going to be up to them, that I'll be the example for them to follow. And that if they follow that example, I promise them, I make that promise, right? I promise you that I will be here doing the activity that if you follow my lead and learn from the things that I teach you, that you can grow your business to where you want, for whatever it is your why and your reason is. So I want to, before I ask a question, so if I hit, 59 months in Success Club, I want you to know, one of my goals up here says by December 10th, we have 68 months of consecutive Success Club 10. So I write out these very specific goals, right? And I even tell people on my call, I'm going to have Success Club 10 consecutive, until my daughter becomes a coach, my 9-year-old daughter. In 9 years, when she's 18, she's going to be on a new coach video chat with me, and I'm going to talk about Success Club and how I've hit it however many 200 and 380 months consecutive or whatever it is. That's a commitment that I've made. So I think a huge thing about that's going to help you guys not just hit Success Club in your business, but grow your team is being a person that's decides what you want and sticks to your word. Right? How many people, including yourself, if you're to look at yourself in the mirror, haven't been as consistent as you said you have? Right? I know we don't want to face that, but so I would say 95% of people are like that. They don't stick 100% to their word. Life comes up, it gets hard, a family member gets ill, or you wreck your car, or you get parasites when you're in the Dominican Republic, or you break your collarbone, or any of these things can happen. You're like, this is too much for me to handle right now. I'm just going to back off for a little bit. And then you come back a month later or 2 months later, 6 months later, right? And you're on and off on that. What I want you guys to know is it's so easy to wow. I'll use the word wow your customers and your team just by being consistent, because it's so rare. It's so rare for somebody to always show up. If you can just do that and be excited about what you're doing, keep it super simple, be excited about it, and just show up, you will wow your customers and your clients and your team. And can you guys agree with that? It's that simple that if you see someone to show up at that level. So the thing I want to say, I have 5 questions that I want to give you guys at the very end that can help you guys make sure that you're consistent every single day. Okay. But what I want you guys to do right now is I'm going to ask, who wants to be a volunteer? Raise your hand, somebody. Don't be scared. I'm waiting. Do I see a pencil up from Yeti? Okay, I'm going to unmute Yeti. Oh, I can't unmute Yeti. Can you unmute yourself, Yeti? I'm used to having the...
Okay.
Okay.
Don't scare me now.
I won't scare you. So I don't know anything about Yadi or Yadi's business. Is Success Club something that you want in your business?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, let me ask a different question. What do you understand about Success Club? Like the importance of it? What benefits does it have for you in your business?
For me, Success Club, it's a reflection of all the lives that I am impacting and changing. So every Success Club point that I get, it means that I am helping someone.
I like that. That's what I adopted with our team. We call it the 3 Lives Club in our team, the 3 Lives Club and the 5 Lives Club. So I look at Success Club like you get 2 points for a challenge pack, 1 point for a new Shakeology home direct order. So I call it the 3 Lives Club. Instead of Success Club 2, that's 1 life. Success Club 4, 2 lives. Success Club 6, 5 or 6 is 3 lives. So what that does is, like, sometimes people don't want, like, it feels weird to think of people as points, right? Like I was a point for Lindsay. Like, you don't want to be known as a point. So I think if you think about it as a 3 Lives Club or a 5 Lives Club, it means that basically, what are you giving them, Yadi? Is that your name, Yadi?
Yes.
Okay. Yadi, what are you giving them when they sign up with a challenge pack or a coach?
What do I give them?
Uh-huh.
I give them value, which means I just want to understand, like, what do you mean, what do I give them? Like, when they sign up.
So when someone clicks the link to sign up as a coach under you or clicks the link to buy the challenge pack, what are they getting?
From me?
Uh-huh.
My undivided attention, number 1, because for me, it means a lot that they put the trust in me for someone that they don't know, a stranger, to join a challenge group. So definitely for me, I take responsibility to make sure that they achieve the goals that they said that they want to achieve before they join me.
Awesome.
So give them my time.
Give them your time. Awesome. So it's much more than just some discs and a bag of powder?
That's correct.
Awesome. Okay, I love that. I just kind of want to get your guys' ideas of what it is that you're giving somebody when you get that Success Club point. What is it you're giving? Man, I didn't want to talk about it. Like, I tell you, I'm kind of directed towards things like I feel like I should talk about. How many of you guys have not raised your, I'm taking this in a different way. I hope you're okay with that. How many of you guys struggle with being disciplined and showing up daily? Like every single day, like excited about your business? I want to see. Okay, there's a few. I see about half are. How many of you guys lack a little bit of confidence on your ability to coach somebody or actually help them? And that keeps you from inviting as many people as you should. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of yeses over here too. Okay. So I want you guys to know, and I guess this would be a vulnerability part of the call. So, like, I dropped out of college because all I want to do is play guitar and snowboard. So if it snowed, I just grabbed my snowboard instead of my backpack. And so I ended up dropping out of college, and I was either playing music or playing in the snow. And it turns out that when I left that, I wanted to be a dentist, and that's what I was going to school for, and I dropped out. And so I took an easier route. I'm just going to go to a technical school and be a dental lab technician. But when I was there, I played music since I was 14. Like, I'm in a band now. We have an album, and we play with some awesome bands. But I played with some bands back then, and I fell into like a bad lifestyle. Moved in with one of the guys from the band, and I knew we drank a lot. We drank and smoked a lot of weed, and we wrote awesome songs during my early 20s. But what I didn't realize is they were into coke, meth, and heroin as well. And one day when I was really drunk, I lived in this house with them. And like, I should have known, right, because I was raised pretty good, that there's about 20 people that live there. And I paid $20 a month to sleep in a sleeping bag on a floor in a room with 3 other guys. One night when I was really drunk, I walked into a room and people were smoking off of a tinfoil with a pen. And I did it. And that's when I got hooked, and I was there for a long time. And when I talk about that, like, you know, luckily, thanks to some friends, some complete strangers, I got out of that. But why I talk about that is because I thought like all these bad things that I did during that time were the reason that I couldn't be successful. I couldn't be successful as a team Beachbody coach. I thought maybe because of that, that's why my career with Dental Lab's not going very good. Because of that, that's probably why my first daughter, I had my first daughter before we were married. That's probably why we had my first daughter on Medicare and the help of the government. Like all these things that I never expected for my life. I was like, this is why. Like, because I made these poor choices, I'm always going to have to deal with living this type of life now of struggle. But it wasn't until I found Beachbody that I realized through these books that didn't define who I was, and that I could change that, right? That I could change who I was, that my past didn't define me. And I was afraid of telling people. I had a hard time. I want you guys to know it took me 13 months to go to 1-star diamond. Like I did diamond on my own easy in 90 days, but I couldn't teach anybody how to do it. So the first year I mentored nobody to diamond. I had Success Club 10 every month, but I had no diamond coaches. And now every year since then, we've had 12 to 13 new diamond coaches. You know, so there was a big shift, right, in what happened that first year. And it was because I was afraid to share parts of my story, because I was afraid I'd be judged, or like, how could he be like a leader or something? What if they found out that you did tons of drugs or you did this and that? And so that kept me from going into my full potential, is what I would call it, or fully growing into what my purpose as a coach is. And so I want you guys to know, when I was able to share those things and be open about that, like it was so crazy to see people like open up about even things that weren't similar, that they thought were keeping them from being successful, right? They just small things about their childhood or how they were raised, or friends they had, or things that they'd done. They're like, I'm never going to be successful, even though they kind of had this little inkling that they could. So they sign up as a coach, but then inside they thought I had this perfect life, right? Went to school, have great parents, went on a mission for my church, all this stuff, have a great wife, a great family. No wonder you're successful. But once I started sharing all of those struggles, like it really helped people open up and realize that they could also change lives. They could change their own life, but also help other people change their lives. And so as I develop my purpose, I'm going to give you guys 2 activities today. The first one is I want you guys to help you guys define really what your purpose is. Because if you know what your purpose is, like you guys heard me talk about my why in the beginning, bringing my wife home and all that. But if you guys really understand what your purpose is, you won't need an alarm clock to wake you up in the morning, right? You'll do what you do without ever expecting any money from it. And then the money will come afterwards, right? And that's why I love what I do so much. It's so hard for me not to go tell everybody, right? Even if I don't benefit financially from it, that's how I can wake up to this level every single day and do that. So what I want you guys to do is write these down. We're going to have 2 things. I'm going to leave you guys with lots of activities today. The first one, so I'm going to give you first one that's going to help you guys stay committed to your goal, like to being committed, at least to showing up every day at a super passionate level, like knowing being confident in what you have to share, kind of like Yadi shared, like being super confident in what you have to share. And then number 2, being consistent, like having something that pulls you towards it every day. So you don't have to force yourself, like walk into your office and be like, oh, here we go again. Like I got to go do these vital behaviors again. Like if you can shift that's when it's going to really shift for you. So the first question that you're going to ask or answer, so just write these down so you can do it later, is who am I? So first one is who am I? Second one is why. What do you love to do? And it's not just Beachbody coaching. So mine would be like, I love the outdoors. I love fishing. I love playing the guitar. I love playing with my kids. Like, what do you help people with? Okay, let me know if you guys got those written down. Okay. So, who are you? Number one. Number two, what do you love to do? Number three, let me reword that. Who do you do it for? Like, who are the people that you help and serve? Who are these people? Number four, what do those people want and need? And number five, how they change or transform as a result of what you give them. So you guys get all those down? Okay. So, like, I want you guys, because this is going to help you guys be super confident in what you're giving every day. Like, you guys see, I have like 1,200 videos. I'm super confident in delivering a message to people, right? So I want you guys to get to that level of confidence in what you have to offer people, like what Yadi's sharing of what she has to give people. But also, I want you to be so dialed in on that purpose that you do it no matter, like, it wakes you up in the morning. Like, when you're if you sit down and you have the urge to turn on the TV, you're like, shoot, I have some purpose to be crushing today, right? So you go into your office and you start building more relationships, or you create something to help your coaches. Like, that's the difference of when you're dialed in on that purpose and you're passionate about it, you do those things instead. So instead of me, if Friday night comes and let's say my wife goes out and the kids go to bed, I'm like, man, I could play Call of Duty in this sweet home theater system like I used to do every night. I don't. I come in the office and I start creating something to help the team. So you want to get to that level, right? If you want to be building an awesome business and being a great leader to your people. So those are the questions. I want to tell you mine so you can get an idea of how to write yours out. Of course, yours is going to be completely different, but some of the things may be similar. And then after I share with you my purpose statement, it's something that I read every single morning when I read my goals. It's memorized now, obviously, because I've been doing it for 3 years. And I share it when I'm on stage now at the end. But after this, I'm going to give you 5 more questions to make sure that you guys are checking yourself on your purpose every single night. So, okay, I'm Scottie Hobbs. I'm a husband and father to 5 beautiful children. I love the outdoors, and I love playing the guitar. I love being outside. I love fishing, hunting, camping. I love wrestling my kids on the floor. I love tickling them, making them laugh. I'm an entrepreneur who invests in myself and in other people. I love personal growth, health, and fitness. I love serving people. I love helping people overcome their fears and their obstacles. I call it facing your grizzly. I love teaching them to use their personal life story and experiences to help people believe in themselves and find more happiness, joy, and purpose in life. I help fathers and mothers who know deep inside there's a better way to live life and provide for their families. I do it so that children can grow up knowing their parents and that these parents can be great role models for their children. They need people, these parents that I mentor and teach, they need people who support them in going after their dreams, love them for being vulnerable about who they are, and encourage them to face their fears. They need a way to get out of debt, build a retirement, and find more time, freedom to spend with their lives with those that love the most. They want more time with their children and less time at work. When they embrace this way of life, they find a sense of purpose and meaning in their life. They find happiness and joy in everyday encounters. They become victors rather than victims, and they become more healthy, fit, and vibrant, and bring a spirit of hope and positivity to this world, which makes a real difference in this world. They then find like a positive channel to funnel their energy and their story and their message with the world, which makes a real difference. And then they're able to create a life by design, which I call becoming the CEO of their own lives. When this happens, they're able to reach and impact more people, first and foremost their family, and then on a bigger level, and spend more time with those that matter most. So that's my purpose statement. If someone's like, what's that coach thing you do? That's the answer they get, little pieces of that. Like if I run into somebody like, hey, I see you do some coach thing, what is that? Or if they're like, I know somebody that does beach body coaching, like I've heard about that thing. I was like, oh, you haven't heard about it until you hear about it from me. That's how I tell them. And then I tell them what I do, which is my purpose statement. That's what wakes me up every morning. That's what makes me want to help people no matter what. And that's what gets me excited about life. So how many of you guys feel if you dial in your purpose a little more, you're going to be more confident and more committed and put more time into your business? Let's see it. Awesome. And doing that is going to help you guys have the right mindset and take the right activities that's going to give you Success Club. Guys, the only reason I'm in the Millionaire Club and Elite 4 times in a row is because I hit Success Club 10 every single month. Like, if you were to ask me what's like the biggest thing, that's it right there. Success Club 10. And that's why I tell my coaches, I'm like, I don't know exactly how you're going to get to a 6-figure income, because everybody grows at a different level. Everybody attracts different people. But I know that all of my coaches that do have a 6-figure income, they hit Success Club 10 every month. Or they hit 5 and then they raise their bar and they hit 10 and they do that consistently. And that's how they're at where they're at. So every single one of my elite coaches that I have all hit Success Club 10 every single month. So if elite's on your goal, Success Club. So that's why Success Club is so important, because that's the monthly goal that's going to bring you to what I believe, if you guys are on this call, is the business that you guys want eventually for your team. So I have 5 questions for you guys to ask yourself every single night that I ask myself right before I get in bed. And you guys ready for them? Okay, number 1, what is your why or your reason? And say why, reason, or your purpose. So mine was to bring my wife home from work. Number 2, what is your IQ level? And this is like a trick question. Okay, IQ means your I quit level. So it's a trick question. At what level do you quit going after your purpose or your goal? What level of difficulty do you say, this is it, like this is too much for me, I don't really want to bring my wife home, I want to sit in this cubicle for the next 30 years for a 40 cent a year job raise, right? So sometimes you got to put things in perspective. I think having an I quit level and checking yourself on that will help you guys see the bigger picture. For me, there is no I quit level, and there never was. There was never a point I said, if I don't have this by month 6 or month 12, or if this happens, I'm done. Like there's no I quit level for me. So make sure to find out what your I quit level is. Number 3, who do I need to associate with today in order to grow? So you guys are on that right now because you're here with your coach. You're here wanting to learn from me, so you're taking those steps. But make sure you find somebody daily that you can grow and learn from. And that could be through YouTube audios. It could be through watching somebody else that's further ahead from you. It could be from outside of this company. So a little thing to help you remember that is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Okay? It's just like I felt for the last 2 hours in the cab meeting. Like I was at the very bottom. So it stretched me. It made me grow, and this introvert got exhausted from it. But I need that. I need to grow like that. And as you guys grow teams, you're going to be pouring so much of yourself out to others that it's important that you get from somebody else as well. So make sure you're around people that you can grow from. Number 4, what am I willing to sacrifice? So for me, it was sacrificing drinking a 24-ounce Natty Light and playing Call of Duty. It was sacrificing my hour lunch break. It was sacrificing my sleep, because I already worked from 5 to 5, and I did P90X at 3:30 in the morning, and I would usually play Call of Duty 8 to 10, so I'd sleep 10 to 3:30ish, get up, do my workout, go to work. Now I got to build a business, so now I'm working from 8 to midnight and getting up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning for an entire year. Like I was exhausted. Those books kept me going, that personal development. So I'm not saying you guys have to sacrifice all your sleep. It's not healthy. But if you're drowning in debt, or you could lose your job in the next year, you should be sacrificing those things. Any television shows, any news, all that stuff. So what do you need to sacrifice? And one of the biggest things I sacrifice, my love language is words of affirmation. If you guys haven't read that book, read 5 Love Languages. So I like people to tell me I'm doing great, I'm a good person. I like that's how I thrive. That's why I love Beachbody so much. Because even one of you guys on here says, that was great, or that helped me, I'm like, boom, I'm excited today. Like, woo, I'm doing awesome. No matter what my Beachbody commission is or what my rank is, I'm feeling great that day because of that. So one thing that I had to sacrifice was the acceptance of, the social acceptance of ignorant friends and family, right? That didn't understand why I was doing this and why it was important to me. So that was a sacrifice I had to make. So make sure that you're making sacrifices. And then the 5th one is Who is counting on you to make this happen? I'll share mine, but I'm going to call somebody out in here. I'm going to make Cameron. He looks frozen. He might not be able to hear me. Oh, there he is. Cameron, could you unmute real quick so I can ask you a question? I don't know how to I wish I could unmute. I'm used to mine. I can just unmute everybody.
I'm looking for him. I can't see him.
He disappeared. I can't see him either. Bummer. He was kind of frozen before, so yeah. I'm going to Tony Smith. Can you unmute?
I just felt you were going to go to me. I don't know why.
The law of attraction, you're like, he's going to me. He's going to me. You got it. So who's counting on you to make this happen?
My family, my burgeoning family. I'm getting, I'm recently engaged, so
awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So as you build this new family, get married, have children, you're going to have all that stuff happening. Tell me, what's it going to cost you if you don't do this?
It's going to cost us everything because we're in a pretty bad shape right now.
Awesome. So it's going to be pretty painful, like for what you can see, the next 5-10 years if you don't do this. So you've got to do this for them. So that's a lot of people counting on you. So thanks for sharing that. I'll share mine to let you guys, but I want to make sure you guys wrote those down, like put them on a little note card next to your bed, because your coach can't check you every day and make sure that you're dialed in on your purpose. Are you making growing and being around people? That's something you have to take personal responsibility for in your own life, in your own business. As much as your coach loves you, right? They can't do that for you on a daily basis. So you've got to learn to do that for yourself so that you can show up daily. So mine, like, who's counting on me? I'm going to tell you, like, I've promised my kids they're never going back to a daycare. So, right, they're never going to a daycare again. I've promised my wife she never has to go back to work again. And you guys should hear it. She shared it like one time on the stage for the first time, like at Super Saturday. The day that she was working, she was actually a call center for another network marketing company, like the coach relations of another network marketing company out of our hometown. And she went to pick up our daughter at daycare because before she worked at the Hilton, she worked a day job like me. Our daughter was at daycare all day. And she was at the front of the daycare talking to the lady, and there was a baby screaming. And she's like, "Oh, that's your daughter. Let me go get her. That's Kina." And she realized that day that she didn't recognize her own baby's cry because she was at work all the time. And so that's when she left that job and started working night shifts, and we separated like that. So I've promised that she's never going to have to go through that as a mother again. So she's counting on me to make that happen. I retired my parents with my Beachbody income 8 years early. There's 59 and 60. And so basically I have to take care of them financially because I made that decision, at least until Social Security kicks in, right? So they're counting on me. Like for 8 years, I have to crush it with this business to make sure that my family's okay, and they are. And then the other people that are counting on me is all 43,000 people that entered my team through somebody because I made the choice. So that's the one thing I want to leave you guys with. This is a little bit harsh, but I think it needs to be said because it's the only thing that drives me crazy in this business is that you must be, not for your own goals, but if you have one customer or coach and you decide to quit or back out when it gets hard, like you are letting that person down and not being a person of your word. And that drives me crazy. So like they always can reach upline and all that stuff, but I think you owe it to yourself to be that person that if you promise somebody and invite them into this business and company with you and say, I'm going to do this with you, we're going to do this together, and then you leave, like you got to look yourself in the mirror on more than just this Beachbody business, or you're going to live a miserable life, I think. So I know that's kind of harsh, but I think you guys owe it to yourself to realize that. Like every single, like when you're like, if I wake up and I'm like, shoot, I'll tell you guys. So Thursday morning, I woke up in my second business center from an 8-star diamond, 9-star official, and I lost all 3 diamonds on one leg. So I dropped to a 1-star diamond, and I lost $5,000 of commissions that week. Like I could be upset about that and be like, this is tough, this is hard. I don't know, like I'm just going to kick back today, like, and go dwell on this and whatever. Like, you know what people do. But I didn't, I just looked at it. I wrote down their names. I set an appointment to call them and talk about getting it back. And I went back and I did exactly what I do every single day. So you've got to get to that point. You can't let outside circumstances dictate what you do with your day. Like, make that decision that you're going to be a master of your emotions. Okay. And that's what it's going to take to be a great leader on your team. So I want you guys to make that commitment to yourself. And because I know that if you do that, your team is going to thrive because of it, because they have a great example of someone to emulate in their life. And at the end of this life, you're going to be an example either way of something they don't want to be or something that they want to be. So you get to choose that. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I went like 15 minutes over what I said I was going to go, but I hope that, see, I told you we hit Success Club, but I had much more that I wanted to share with you guys today on that. But I hope you guys take that in your life. You ask yourself those questions every day, because that's what it's going to take for you to be the entrepreneur for your team and the leader for your team. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Scottie, so much. That was amazing. I'm super excited that I stalked you for 2 years now. No, seriously, that was amazing. Thank you. I couldn't agree more with you that, hitting Success Club is definitely mindset, and 80% of it, and 20% is just technical, and definitely having our why and who we do this for, mapped out is very, very important, because that's our driver and that's what pushes us. So thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us, and I'll see you on the cruise.
Hey, see ya.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.